Hi, my name is Jeff, and in this video I'm going to explain how to build a do-it-yourself party foam machine. It's been over 2 years since my last video, and I figured it was about time for an update. This video will be broken into parts. You can jump to whichever part you're interested in by clicking on the links in the video description below. For this project you will need a 3/4 to 1 horsepower carpet drying blower fan, a utility water pump at least 1/6 horsepower, weed block landscape fabric, 2 or 3 360 pattern sprinkler heads, a short length of garden hose, Velcro, 5-minute epoxy, a hose end replacement kit, a piece of 1/2-inch PVC pipe, several 1/2-inch PVC fittings including T's and elbows, as well as 1/2-inch threaded adapters for attaching the sprinkler heads. Here you see the plumbing setup for a 2 sprinkler head machine, and here you see the plumbing setup for a 3 sprinkler head machine. As far as tools needed, you'll need a screwdriver, a drill, PVC cutters, scissors, a stapler, and a 1/2-inch drill bit. You will also need a tank of some sort to hold the foam fluid. The blower fan is the biggest, most expensive, and most important part of the foam machine. There are a lot of options out there, but my best piece of advice is buy a fan that has the highest cubic feet per minute output and the highest horsepower you can afford. I wouldn't really recommend going higher than 1 horsepower, but I also wouldn't recommend going lower than 3/4 horsepower. The fan I'm using on the new machine says it's capable of 4,000 cubic feet a minute of airflow. The fan on my first machine is capable of 3,500 cubic feet per minute of airflow. Look for a fan that's in that performance range, because the more power you have, the more foam it'll put out. A lot of people have blower fans laying around their house because they're all around the same size. They think they're going to work, but they don't. It has to be at least a 1/2 horsepower in order to have enough power to work. I built a foam machine using a 1/4 horsepower fan in order to demonstrate what happens when you don't have enough power. That brings me to the most important piece of advice is don't be in a rush to build the machine. A lot of stores don't stock the fans, so you're going to have to order them, and it'll save you a lot of money on shipping and handling if you have a little bit of time. Amazon.com is probably the best place to go to buy a blower fan since most stores don't stock them, and they have a really good selection. For you DJs and clubs out there, the lighting company called Elation actually makes a 1 horsepower blower fan for exactly this purpose. And it has DMX, so you can connect it to your lighting board and turn it on and off that way. The water pump is a little bit tricky to pick out because you need more power depending on how high you want to mount your foam machine. If you're planning to run your foam machine off of a table, you need a much less powerful pump than if you're planning to hang it from the ceiling. Both of the water pumps I use are 1/6 horsepower and are rated at about 3,000 gallons per hour. But like I said before, you may want to get a pump with more horsepower if you're planning to hang the foam machine high, because you need more power to push the water uphill.
Here is the pact that I have been making, in which I'll never die. If you can feel it and you can sing it, in that I'll stay alive. In can you recall, when did man stand tall? When did he lose his voice? Your time I won't steal, this shit is for real, all because it is my choice. We just do it, cause our hands are drawn to these guitars. Here is the pact that I have been making, in which I'll never die. you can't feel it and you can't sing it, in that will stay alive. So I know how it feels to be real nowadays. I am you, you are me, we all live anyway. It gets crazy in this city, in this day and age. Here is the fact that I have been making, in which will never die. If you can't feel it and you can't sing it, in that will stay alive. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the fact that I have been making, in which will never die. If you can't feel it and you can't sing it, in that will stay alive.
For all my parties so far, I have used Blue Dawn Ultra Concentrated Dish Soap to make the foam. To make the foam fluid, you're going to dilute the soap in water at a 2% mixture. So whatever container you're using, find out how many gallons of water it holds, then find what 2% of that gallon amount is, and that's the amount of soap that you want to put in. I was using 32-gallon trash cans at my last party, and that came out to be about 2.4 liters of soap each time I filled it up. If you're using a 5-gallon bucket, it's about 375 milliliters of soap needed for that. I've only ever used Dawn dish soap, but it's probably not the only soap out there that will work. You can also buy specifically made foam party fluid from various foam companies on the internet, but I haven't used it or tested it, but I'm sure they work well also. The only drawback about using dish soap that I've found is just the smell. It smells like you're doing the dishes times 1,000, and it's not necessarily the nicest thing. But the guests never seem to care. They're all drunk and having a good time anyway.
That's what I'm talking about, Ivy Rooftop. That's what I'm talking about. Can y'all hear me out there, Ivy Rooftop? Can you hear me out there?
The video you just saw is from a party I had a few days ago. As far as a location for a foam party, the number one thing is a location with drainage. You either need to do it outdoors or in a basement or something that has a floor drain of some kind, because the water will build up if it doesn't have anywhere to go. Another thing is to make sure you seal all the electrical outlets from the foam, because the water will get in there and start tripping breakers. The first party I had, I got shocked about 1,000 times. Second party, I made sure to keep all of my electrical stuff up off the ground so it didn't get wet. The foam is made out of soap, so it's going to make the floor slippery. So test beforehand to make sure that it's not too slippery for your guest. If you're having a party with only a few people in a small venue, you can definitely run the machine off a table and it'll do just fine. But if you're having any more than like 15 people, you're definitely going to want to hang the machine, because the people will just crowd around the machine and block all the foam from spreading. So if you hang it up above their heads, then it's always pouring down on them, and you'll have no problems. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. I try to get back to as many people as I can, and thank you for watching.